So let's recite together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the sublime, the victorious, and the totally self-enlightened one. Last week, we finished with the 4 postures and clear comprehension, and today we are going to start with Paṭikūlamanasikāra, repulsiveness of the body. Now, this section, we will talk about different body parts, and Paṭikūlamanasikāra is translated as repulsiveness of the body. Let's take a little look of the Pali word. Paṭikūla, according to the dictionary, it means repulsive or disagreeable or unpleasant, and literally it means against the slope. For some people, the English word repulsive implies an association with dosa or aversion, so it's somehow a negative word. Do you have this feeling? Like if you say repulsive, it feels like you have dosa or aversion, or you don't like it, right? Something like that. So it is very important to understand that when we observe this object, we should not do it with dosa or aversion, because dosa and aversion is a defilement, and looking at things with defilement cannot be called meditation, right? So we are just trying to see the reality of these body parts as they are objectively. I think in general, most of the people will agree that, say, the internal organs, they are not attractive or pleasant, or in terms of their look, their smell, or their touch, etc. So we are just looking at and contemplating reality as they are. If they are of this kind of nature, then we just take it as it is, without aversion, and that this is very important. And manasikara, this word, the next word, means attention or bringing to mind, or observation or noticing, literally making in mind. So that means that we bring attention to, we may say, the non-beautiful aspect, disagreeable aspect, unpleasant aspect, or repulsive nature of the body parts. So for the English translation, please choose whichever translation that suits you. If you think repulsive have the negative feeling and you don't really think that this word is suitable, then maybe you can use non-beautiful or disagreeable, or just use patikula or asubha, non-beautiful aspects. So let's go to the sutta directly. Punna chaparam bhikkhave bhikkhu ima meva kayam padatala ado kesa mataka tacha pariyantam puram nana pakarasa asuchino pachavekati. And again, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu reflect upon this very body, upward from the sole of his feet, downwards from the tips of his hair, enclosed by the skin, and full of diverse impurities. So in this section, 32 parts of the body are being introduced as part of this meditation, and meditators are instructed to contemplate on the non-beautiful or disagreeable or unpleasant or repulsiveness of these parts. And this is the same meditation on the body that is described in the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification that you can find. It is one of the 40 subjects of samatha meditation as well. So for this object, we can use it as samatha and then change to vipassana, or directly to vipassana. It is also possible. Later on, we will talk about how to do that. But here in this section of the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, it is introduced as a practice which is also suitable for samatha yanika. So for those who want to first practice samatha meditation and then to gain jhana and then switch to vipassana. So therefore, we will also look at how to practice the samatha part. Now, before we continue to look at which are the 32 parts that are being mentioned in this sutta, I'd like to remind you to please switch your mindset to a medical one. So we are going to see some images of the body parts that may not be pleasant as we are looking at this non-beautiful side of the body, right? So please imagine yourself to be a medical student and see things objectively. If some kind of disgusting feeling or whatever emotions that may arise, it might also be the good opportunity to practice to be aware of these emotions. No, but anyway, just a warning that we will see some images. Okay, so first let's go back to the sutta and see which 32 parts are mentioned. So it says, Ati imasmin kaye. Thus there are in this body Kesa, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacho, Mansam, and all these parts are being mentioned. So head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, etc. So you will see here, there is a bracket here. Matalungam, which is brain here. So in the sutta, original sutta, this word is not mentioned in the sutta itself. It is included here because according to the Paṭisambhidamagga and the commentaries, brain is not mentioned here, but it is included under marrow. So therefore it is not specifically mentioned again. But if you take away this brain, then you will count 31 parts. So according to the Visuddhimagga, so there are 32 parts. And so if you find like, why is there 31 and then why does it say 32? It's because of this brain part here. Okay, so now let's take a look at all these parts together with some images and also with a chant from Bante from Sri Lanka. Okay, so are you ready? Yeah, okay, so let's take a look.
Atti imasmin kaye kesa
Hair,
loma
body hair,
naka
nails,
danta
teeth,
tacho
skin,
mansang
flesh,
naharu
sinews,
watti
bones,
atti minja
marrow,
wakkang
kidney,
hadayang
heart,
yakanang
liver,
kilomakang
diaphragm,
pihakang
spleen,
pappasang
lungs,
antang
large intestines,
antagunang
small intestines,
udariyang
stomach,
karisang
feces,
mathalunggang
brain,
pitang
bile,
semhang
phlegm,
pubbo
pus,
lohitang
blood,
sidu
sweat,
mido
fat,
asu
tear,
wasak
grease,
kelo
saliva,
singhanika
mucus,
lacika
oil of the joints,
mutang thi.
So these are the 32 parts of the body introduced in this practice for contemplation. So meditators survey their own body, look at it mentally, and see the 32 parts of the body and contemplate the non-beautiful or unpleasant or disagreeable aspect of these parts. Now, concerning these parts of the body, when we observe it, we do not need to bother about the clinical accuracy of the body parts and whether some of them are to be called parts at all. For example, feces or urine are not actually parts of the body, but they are mentioned here just for the sake of the meditation. So there are, of course, in the body more than 32 parts, but the Buddha only mentioned these 32 parts because for meditation purpose, these 32 parts is enough for the meditator to have understanding of the nature of the unpleasant or non-beautiful nature of the body. So later you will see when meditator practice meditation even only on one of this part, they can even reach jhana stage. And then after reaching the jhana stage, they can change to vipassana and even attain the realization of nibbana, of the truth, right? Now we will go to how to practice with these 32 parts. It's not an easy practice, but let's go step by step and look at it. So concerning this practice, according to the commentaries of the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification, the sevenfold skill of learning and the tenfold skill of paying attention, which is a detailed explanation about how to practice it, is mentioned. So traditionally, monks, they use these 32 parts of the body to do this kind of contemplation. But you will see that it might not be easy to know all of the aspects required for all these 32 parts. So Sayadaw Usilananda, he also mentioned that we can select one part or a few parts as an object of our meditation. So let's go to the sevenfold skill of learning first. So it is said that the first thing to start with is oral recitation. That means knowing the 32 parts of the body by heart and reciting the names of this body part throughout the day during all waking hours. It is said in the scripture that even though meditators are well versed in the Tipitaka, in the Buddhist scripture, they must first start reciting the names of these 32 parts of the body. Now, after memorizing by oral recitation, then it will go to another phase of the learning, which is mental recitation. In the first stage, we actually say it, Kesa, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacho, like that, we recite it. And then in the second stage, we mentally recite it, and we carefully pay attention to those parts while we are reciting mentally, no? And then we have to learn the color of that particular part as the third stage, and then the shapes, and then the directions, as well as location of this body parts. And then we also have to know that the delimitation, which is the boundaries of that particular part. So let's go into details of each of these steps. So oral recitation, how do we do that? Now for convenience, the 32 parts of the body are divided into 6 groups. So there are 4 groups of 5 parts and 2 groups of 6 parts. The first step, the oral recitation, we first take the first group and then memorize them. It can be in Pali or in any language that you have the strongest perception of that body part. Say, if you say this part in English, this part becomes vivid in your mind, then it will be good. Or if you say Pali, then it becomes vivid, then you can use Pali or your native language, whatever it may be. So what we need to do here is that first we have to recite orally in the forward order, meaning head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, like this forward order. So in this way, we keep reciting orally in this order, these 5 parts for 5 days. And then for the next 5 days, we will recite it in the backwards order. So that means skin, teeth, nails, body hair, head hair, like that, and keep reciting it in the backwards order for 5 days. And then the next 5 days, what we're going to do is we're going to recite it in the forward and backwards order. So that means head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, skin, teeth, nails, body hair, head hair, like that. And then start again, head hair, body hair, like that. So we will recite it in this way for 5 days. So for the first group, it will take 15 days to finish this practice. After these 15 days, we're going to switch to the second group. So again, we will take 15 days, and then now we will memorize the second group: flesh, sinews, bones, marrow, kidneys, like that. Normal order, reverse order, normal order, and reverse order. So for 15 days, we practice the second group. And then after that, we're going to add the first part to it. So we are going to recite the first set plus the second set in the forward order, the normal order. So head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, marrow, kidneys, like that. And then the reverse order, kidneys, marrow, bones, sinews, flesh, skin, teeth, nails, body hair, head hair, like that. And then another 5 days will be the forward order and reverse order of the 2 sets. So in this way, it will take 30 days to finish with the second set. Yeah. Okay. Then we're going to go to the third set, and then we're going to recite in the same way the forward order, reverse order, forward and reverse order for 15 days. And then we'll add the first and the second set. So now first, second, and third set together in the same way, forward order, reverse order, forward and reverse order. So that will again take 30 days to complete the third set, and so on. Then we go to the fourth set, the fifth set, etc. So altogether, to finish the whole 32 parts, it will take 165 days to do that. So it is a long time, and it is not easy. But Sayadaw Usilananda also said that it is okay, for example, if we just take the first set or any set that you like and practice with that set instead of doing all the 32 parts. Okay, so after the oral recitation, we come to the mental recitation. And for the mental recitation, it is going to be done in the same way as the oral recitation, again for 165 days, but this time not orally, but only mentally, and carefully paying attention to each of the parts that we are reciting, mentally seeing the parts. No? After that, we go on to the third stage. And the third stage is to learn the color of that particular parts. So say hair, it can be black, it can be blonde, it can be red, or it can be white. So the hair, the color of it, and then the teeth, let's say white, or the blood that is red. So we learn the colors of the different parts. And the fourth stage is to learn the shapes of these parts. And then we will also have to learn the direction. Now, direction here means whether that particular part is in the upper portion of the body or it is in the lower portion of the body. After knowing the direction, we also have to know its location. So that means the place where this body part can be found, where it is located. And after knowing that, then we have to also to learn the delimitation, which is the boundary of that particular part. Now, for delimitations, there are 2 kinds. The first one is delimitation of the similar and of the dissimilar. The first meaning is to know that a particular part is what it is bound above, below, and around. That part, what is around, or what is above it, below it, or around it, so we know. And then the second meaning of the dissimilar, meaning that knowing that this part is totally different from the other part. So let's say head hair, it's not the same as body hair, let's say. So like they are different, no? And vice versa. Let's take head hair as an example, and we will see how to do the third to the seventh stage. So head hair may be black in color, let's say in this example. So we can take it as black to know it black, or it may be brown or blonde or red or gray or white, whatever it may be. We know the color. And then we know the shape. So the shape can be like a thread, and the direction, it is located in the upper part of the body. And then concerning the location, head hair is located in the wet inner skin that envelopes the scalp, bounded on both sides by the ears, in front by the forehead, and behind by the nape of the neck. So this is the location where head hair, this body part, is located. And concerning delimitation, then we have to know that it is bounded below by the surface of its own root to the amount of the tip of a rice grain, fixed by entering into the inner skin that envelopes the head. It is bound above by space and all around by other hair. And with respect to delimitation of the dissimilar, head hair is not body hair and body hair is not head hair. Furthermore, not intermixed with the remaining 31 part of the body. So this head hair is a separate part of the body, separate than the other 31 parts. So that is the delimitation. So meditators contemplate on the 32 parts of the body one by one in these 7 ways. Traditionally, the monks, they learn it like that. So this is not easy because we have to know a lot of anatomy now in order to know all these details of these parts. Then after learning this sevenfold skill, the meditator, they must continue to study how to pay attention to these parts. We will go to the tenfold skill of paying attention. And this is very involved actually. The first one is that they must learn to repeat and contemplate following the prescribed order. They must follow the sequence without skipping a part. So that is the first skill. And then the second is that they should not recite or contemplate too quickly because otherwise they might get confused. And the third is that they should not recite or contemplate too slowly because if they recite too slowly, they might forget the different parts. Okay, then the fourth skill is warding off distraction. That means meditators should not follow the temptation to discontinue the meditation and let the mind be distracted by external objects. So they should keep their mind on the parts of the body without being distracted by other objects. That's warding off distraction. And then the fifth skill is going beyond the concept. When we say head hair or body hair and so on, we are repeating the concept of the name, the name of that part. So we must go beyond this concept. And how do we do that? We should not concentrate on the concept of the part, but we try to establish the mind on the non-beautiful aspect of these parts. So say hair, in this case, we do not imagine in our mind like a very beautiful hair like that, no? Because the aim of this meditation is to establish in the mind of the meditators the non-beautiful nature of the different parts of the body so that we can become detached from it. Now, that's the main idea. What we want to do is we want to see the nature of it and be detached from it. So instead of focusing on the concept of hair, we should look at the non-beautiful aspect in 5 ways. So we can look in terms of color, in terms of shape, how it really looks like. Also, like when it is not attached to our head, like how we find in the bathroom. And then we can also contemplate on its smell. Like if we do not wash the hair for some days, then it starts getting smelly or sticky and greasy and like that, right? As well as we can contemplate on the habitat and location. So let's see what that means. That means meditators contemplate that head hair grow on our body, and the body itself is the combination of all the other parts, which is the skin, the flesh, the blood, the pus, the phlegm, and so on. No? So hair growth out of these disagreeable things. So hair itself is also repulsive or disagreeable or unpleasant by habitat. And location means where the body part is found. So with regard to hair, it is the place where it grows. So on the head, it grows on the body, which is the meeting place of all the other unpleasant parts. No? So this is how a meditator contemplate on the non-beautiful or disagreeable aspect of each and every part of the body by way of color, shape, odor, habitat, and location. So that is the skill of going beyond the concept. Okay, so that was number 5. Let's go to the 6th. The 6th skill is successive living. When meditators recite these parts of the body, some of this body part will appear to their mind very clearly, but some others may not. So When this happens, meditators should leave out the parts that does not appear to them clearly and recite only those parts that are clear. And then so one by one, eliminating the ones that are not clear until only one of them appear very clearly in the mind of the meditator. Then at that time, we should keep this object of meditation with us and contemplate only on this part again and again until reaching absorption or the jhana stage. So that will become the object of the meditator at the end. Okay, now that is successive living. Let's go to number 7. The 7th skill is paying attention to absorption. That means meditators must understand that absorption or jhana can arise in each or any one of these body parts. Okay, then number 8, 9, and 10 are collectively mentioned in 3 suttas, the other 3 skills. So these 3 skills, number 8, 9, and 10, can be achieved by reading these suttas and following the advice given there. Now, number 8 is concerning the sutta called Nimitta Suttam in Anguttara Nikaya, Book 3. It is about paying attention to 3 things when contemplating or meditating. So meditators intent on reaching higher consciousness should pay attention to these 3 things. What are they? Concentration, samadhi, effort, pagaha, and equanimity, upekkha. All these 3 things should be paid attention to, and they must be in proper balance. Because if we have too much concentration, that can lead to laziness. And with too much effort, it will lead to agitation. And also, if we pay attention only to equanimity, there will be no proper concentration. So all of these 3 must be in balance while practicing. So this is the 8th skill. The 9th is called Achieving 6 Things. It can be found in Siti Bhava Sutta, again in Anguttara Nikaya, in Book 6. And in this sutta, bhikkhus are taught to achieve 6 things when they want to realize nibbana. Now, Siti Bhava, literally, it means like coolness. So the state of coolness, that means nibbana. So the 6 things are restraining the mind when it should be restrained, exerting the mind when it should be exerted, encouraging the mind when it should be encouraged, looking at everything with equanimity, resolving to attain superior stages, and taking delight in nibbana. Well, this last one, although we cannot take nibbana as object directly yet, because we are not a noble person yet, we have not attained nibbana, we do not know it directly, but learning and practicing, we can understand or we can imagine how nibbana would be. Say we know how bad it feels to have defilements, right? So we can imagine how nice it would be without defilements. So in that way, we take delight in nibbana. This 9th skill is the achievement of these 6 things. And then we go to the last one, which can be found in the Samyutta Nikaya, Aggi Suttam, to develop the 7 factors of enlightenment. And what are the 7 factors of enlightenment? We have sati, mindfulness, dhamma vichaya, investigation of dhamma, viriya, effort, piti, joy or rapture, passaddhi, tranquility, samadhi, concentration, and upekkha, equanimity. So these 7 factors of enlightenment, and each of these factors should be developed at a specific time. For example, when the mind is lazy, we need to promote the Dhamma Vichaya, the investigation of the Dhamma, Viriya, effort, and piti, joy or rapture, in order to wake up the mind, or to make it interested in the practice. So when the mind is lazy, this group of 3 should be encouraged or practiced. And when the mind is agitated, not stable or distracted, then we need to focus on tranquility, passaddhi, concentration, samadhi, and equanimity, upekkha. so the mind will become calmed again. So these 7 factors, they should also be in balance, no? So it is helpful in different situations. So we need to know while we are doing the practice, at what time, what kind of factors we should pay attention to in order to keep the meditation going well. And here, sati, it is needed all the time, no? Because it is the factor that knows whether the other factors are in balance or not. So sati must always be there. These 7 factors of enlightenment will be discussed again later in the section of contemplation of the Dhamma. But it is mentioned here as the 10th skill of paying attention. So meditators should familiarize themselves with these 3 suttas and follow the advice given in them. In this way, meditators learned this tenfold skill of paying attention. When meditators have learned the 10 skills, they will go to a suitable place and recite the different parts of the body orally and then mentally and so on, and following the instructions. Then they contemplate the 32 parts of the body again and again and again and again until one part becomes clearest to them. And then they dwell on it and continue to contemplate this part until they achieve the absorption or reach the stage of jhana. So after reaching the stage of jhana, the meditator can switch to vipassana. For samatha yanika, a person who practiced first samatha and attained jhana before going to vipassana, meditators can contemplate on rupa if they wish by taking the object which they have taken as the object for that jhana. So in this case, let's say teeth. So they can contemplate teeth as rupa and start vipassana meditation. Or if they wish to start with the mind, then they can contemplate on the jhana factors which accompany the first jhana. So that's vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata. No? So in this way, meditators have to contemplate both nama and rupa and clearly understand what is what is nama is nama, rupa is rupa, they are not the same, and understanding their individual characteristic. And then they try to see the arising and fading away of that jhana or the object of that jhana or the jhana factors until they reach the highest stage in vipassana, as we have seen previously, no? In the same way. So this is how samatha yanika practice first with the 32 parts of the body in order to attain the first jhana, and then switch to vipassana by taking the nama and rupa object. And alternatively, for vipassana yanika, those persons who do not practice jhana first, and they can go directly to vipassana. And in this case, vipassana yanika can view the body parts as elements and develop vipassana on these parts. So either way, whether you do it with samatha first, attaining jhana first, or directly to vipassana, whichever way, finally, it leads to the ultimate realization of nibbana. That's the aim. So if the meditator practice directly with the body part as elements, then they start contemplating the 4 primary elements. And then later on, they also contemplate the dependent rupa, upadaya rupa also. So we're understanding clearly the characteristic of each of these rupa. And then meditators can recognize that which takes this rupa object is actually consciousness itself, that is the mind. Chitta together with its cetasika. So here the meditator proceeds to the contemplation of the mind in the same way as we have seen in the previous sections with the different objects. Now, when meditators understand that there is only mind and matter and nothing else, and there is actually no individual or no person there, when they understand that, they get rid of the wrong view and attain the purification of view. And that is the basic steps for a higher vipassana wisdom, right? Okay, so now we go back to the sutta. And the sutta continues in the same way as the previous sections. So it goes to iti Ajatam wa kaye kaya nupasi viharati, bahida wa kaye kaya nupasi viharati. So thus he dwells contemplating the body in the body internally, or he dwells contemplating the body in the body externally. So internally, meaning understanding that there is only mind and matter here, and there is no self in here. So externally means in the same way that there is no I here, for other beings also there is only mind and matter. There is also no beings there, no man, no woman, no individual. And when the meditator contemplates back and forth, that will be internally and externally. Okay, then the sutta continues in the same way. Samudaya Dhamma nupasiva kayasmin viharati. He dwells contemplating the origination factors in the body. So that is the cause of this body and mind. No? So in the previous sessions, we have already explained that this body exists now because of past karma, because of past lobha, craving, and also delusion, and so on. No? This body and mind are here because of these factors. So we start contemplating of the origination factors of this body and of the mind. So in this way, we go to the dependent origination. And then the dissolution factors means the reverse order of the dependent origination. And then when the meditators contemplate both the normal order, the usual order, and the reverse order of the dependent origination, that is contemplating on the origination and dissolution factors in the body. Now, again, it says body here, but we all have already explained in the previous session that we need to understand that this means the body and mind. No? This body, it's because we are taking the body object here, kayasmin, no? As the body, but body and mind both. Okay. Then when meditators contemplate on the repulsiveness or disagreeable or non-beautiful aspect of the body parts and really see them as they are, there cannot be any attachment or wrong view left. In other words, there cannot be any clinging to these body parts. So meditators do not cling to anything in the world of the five aggregates. And that is the attainment, right? So thus, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu dwells contemplating the body in the body in this way, contemplating the 32 parts of the body in this way. Now, this meditation is taught by the Buddha so that meditators may become less attached to their own body, as well as less attached to the body of others. So this is one of the main purpose of the contemplation of these 32 parts, in order to see the non-beautiful aspect and to decrease our attachment towards our own body and the bodies of the others. In the commentaries, it is mentioned that the benefits to be enjoyed when practicing this kind of meditation are many. People are often not happy when they are in a secluded place or when they are isolated. It is said that those who have practiced this meditation can overcome boredom in secluded place with their meditation. They can delight in such places. It is said that they can also overcome delight in sensual pleasure. Usually, we are very used to indulging in sensual pleasure. But when meditators have practiced meditation of the 32 parts of the body, they can overcome those desires. They will see the non-attractiveness of the different parts of the body, and then they will become indifferent to them. Also, it is said that they will remove the unhappiness in regard to meditation. So they will not see these body parts with dosa. They will be equanimous towards meditating on this part. Then the other benefit is overcoming fear and dread. Meditators who practice this kind of meditation have no concept of a being and of the attractiveness of the different parts of the body. So it is said that when dangers arise, they experience neither fear nor dread. They will also be able to bear cold, heat, hunger, and so on. So they will be more patient with the climate, with food, and with different situations. Another benefit is the attainment of jhana. For the contemplation on the 32 parts, the jhana factor of vitakka, initial application, is needed to support the consciousness on the gross object, which is the non-beautiful aspect of the body, no? So because of that, because vitakka must be there, so only first jhana can be attained. But if the meditator would like to continue their contemplation with this object and to attain further or higher jhanas, what they can do is that they can change their focus to the color aspect of the object. Instead of contemplating on hair, they can contemplate on the color of the hair. In this way, they switch the contemplation to the color kasina. So with color kasina, it is possible to attain the second to the fifth jhana. So with this object based on the body parts, it is also possible for the meditator to attain the second to the fifth jhana. And after reaching the fifth jhana, meditators can even go on to develop further the four arupa jhanas and eventually practice to acquire the ability to see things that are far away or perform something unusual, such as walking on water, etc. And that is called the penetration of the 6 kinds of direct knowledge, abhinya, and sometimes also called supernormal power. So these are the benefits to be gained from the practice of this kind of meditation. Now, concerning the 6 types of abhinya, if you're interested and you want to find more details of it, then you can go to video number 62 in the channel of the Anatomy of the Mind. Now, I will not go into details here. So with this, we have come to the end of the Paṭikūlamanasikāra section.
Normally, if I observe all of these body parts, I wouldn't feel repulsed or anything like that. So, and if I like, when you were just talking about, for example, the hair becoming greasy, and that's also not very repulsive, or but if I start to think about like really putting in effort to see it as repulsive, I see anger, uncomfortableness coming up if I want to see it as repulsive.
Anger comes up.
Yeah.
Maybe the word repulsive is not the best word to use. Do you see the body parts as non-beautiful?
No, that's the thing. So I see as just parts of of something that it's like the body, right? I see it as just parts, like parts of a car or something.
And you don't see the not beautiful side, and you don't see the non-beautiful side of it. So you think it's beautiful?
Normally I don't. So if I like just want to see it that way, I feel like anger is there.
Yeah. So, well, the main point of this practice is to reduce our attachment towards the body. And it also has to do with the temperament of the meditator, of the person. If the person is a more a loba type of person, then we tend to see things as beautiful, no? Like the hair is so beautiful, this body is so beautiful, this person is so handsome, she is so beautiful, no? When we see things as very beautiful, then we can quite easily get attached to our own body or to the bodies of the others. So the main purpose of this meditation is to reduce the attachment towards the body of oneself and of others by seeing the reality of these things. Because especially for people who have tendency of loba or of attachment, of greed, we usually see things, the beautiful side of thing, and we usually ignore the not so beautiful or unpleasant side of something, no? This practice is introduced so that this type of person who usually see the beautiful side of things also see the non-beautiful side of things, so to see the reality as they really are, how it actually is. So for when we see that clearly, then we see, oh, actually it is not as beautiful as I think it is. So attachment is being reduced. But if you think that this type of meditation is not helpful for you, or even it makes you angry, then I don't think it is a suitable object for you, maybe.
Okay.
Hi, Heidi. Thank you. My question is, when we're thinking or we're contemplating on the body, is it more beneficial and suitable that, let's say, I'm contemplating on teeth. Am I thinking of these teeth, my teeth in my body, or am I thinking I have teeth, Adder has teeth, my mother has teeth, sort of generally all bodies have teeth, and I'm contemplating on that, please?
This is actually very interesting because it connects with another type of meditation. Because you're mentioning about teeth, there is another type of meditation that is called the skeleton meditation. I think you might have heard about it. There is quite a famous story of, I think it was Venerable Mahatissa. We're going to talk about this next week, actually. So he used to practice watching the skeleton. So of course, he contemplate on his own skeleton or his own teeth and on of the others as well, as you said. So like all the other people, just like I have teeth, the other people also is made up of these parts, made up of these 32 parts. This body is made up of these 32 parts. The other person's body is also made up of these 32 parts. So it is not so beautiful here. It's also not so beautiful there. No, it's the same thing. So this venerable, he practiced contemplating on the skeleton for a long time. And so one day he was walking outside, and then one lady passed by. And when the lady passed by, she smiled at him, so showing the teeth, right? And then after that, she just smiled and left. It happens that that lady actually, she just had a fight with her husband, and she left the house, and then she was going away. And then after some time, the husband came chasing after her and saw the venerable and asked, "Oh, venerable, have you seen a woman passing by?" And then the venerable said, "I only saw teeth." I only saw a skeleton. It was just only teeth, no? So this venerable, he has practiced so much of skeleton that he only see the other person as a skeleton. Because of that practice, at that time, it is said that he immediately switched his practice to vipassana, and he attained enlightenment also at that time. So I think to answer your question, we contemplate that this body is made up of these 32 parts. It's nothing as beautiful as we think it is. And then we contemplate the other person also. Other person is also made up of these 32 parts, and it is also not as beautiful. So we reduce our attachment towards this body and the body of the others. Also, we can see the non-self nature of this body and the non-self nature of the other person also. So in that way, we are also contemplating for vipassana.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, Nancy.
I wish to ask, let's say while dabbling with this practice, let's say we are going in the wrong way, which we do not know. What are the signposts like, that we can out and know that we are doing it like in error?
Yeah, when we are developing anger, let's say, like Eddie was saying, like if we are looking at things and well, not necessarily angry, but it can be just aversion. When we are looking at these things and we are looking and we are feeling that it is disgusting, or we have a dosa, we have dosa towards the object, then at that time, then we are not going on the right direction, because we should observe just seeing the reality as it is without dosa. We just equanimously.
I was thinking just now while listening, of course, I've not done this before, but already I was thinking that there could be, what if there is like some fear? Maybe the fear
Yes.
can be like, I was just in that direction.
Yes, fear also is a kind of dosa, no? It's also in the aversion family, no? So fear, disgust, or boredom, anger, they are all dosa. So if this kind of feeling arise, then maybe it is better that we switch our object and observe that dosa first and observe that fear. Don't continue with that object, and first check and take care of the fear first, because it is not going to be helpful if we sit in meditation and we develop defilements. No, if it continues growing, then we are doing the reverse. We are not practicing for wholesome quality, but we are practicing for unwholesome quality, and so definitely something's wrong there, right? So in that moment, stop and don't look at that object anymore, and make the fear itself your object. And try to understand also. And actually, if you are interested in investigation, it may even be interesting, no, to see why. What am I afraid of? What is this mind afraid of? What does it not like about these things? No, like is it the shape? Is it the blood, or what is it? Like so. But look at it objectively, and don't think it is me. No, like right view. As Sayadaw Tejaniya says, that's more important. So take care of this fear first. If in case that fear just grow, we cannot control it at that moment, then just stop, and then just observe, and until that fear subside. Then if you wish to try again, you may, or if not, then maybe use another object. Because remember sorry, I just want to say the last thing, because remember, very important point, the purpose of meditation is to increase our wholesome quality and to grow in wisdom. If that purpose is not served, then there's no point doing it. Like if we are cultivating more dosa or cultivating fear, then we are going the wrong way. We're going the opposite direction. Yes, Nancy, you were saying something.
Yeah, just now I heard that we need not work with the 32 parts, like we can start with just a few parts. Yeah. And that's all right too. Yeah.
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because it's actually a difficult practice. If we want to learn all the aspect that we have seen today, all the aspect of the 32 parts of the body, it will take quite a long time and will take a lot of study. So if we just want to practice for maybe concentration, and then eventually switch to vipassana, we can try and choose one part that does not give you those kind of fear, part that is more neutral, and then you can see the non-beautiful side of that part and to contemplate on it. Okay. Welcome. Okay, anyone else? With this, we have finished with the fourth section of the Kayanupassana, mindfulness of the body. I think next we will be able to finish the elements as well as the 9 charnel ground contemplations. Do you have any question concerning today's content or concerning the Mahasatipatthana Sutta so far, all the contents that we have go through? Anyone, anything? Oh, good. That's wonderful. So that means it's clear. So that's good. Okay, so in that case, that we will have an early close today. So let's recite together. We dedicate our effort for the attainment of Nibbana and also share merits with all beings. Itam no punyam Nibbanasa paceyo hotu. Itam no punyam Nibbanasa paceyo hotu. Itam no punyam Nibbanasa paceyo hotu. Itam no punyam sabbasatanam bhajima. Itam no punyam sabbasatanam bhajima. Itam no punyam sabbasatanam bhajima. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much for joining, everyone. So I'll see you again next week.
Thank you very much.
Heidi.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
you.
Welcome.
Wish you a good week, everyone.
Good week, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.